right, let's see here. Today is the 12th of December, 2020. It's about 63 degrees out. And this is the last one of these hives I'm going to do this to. Well, at this point, I'll have done it to all of them. And so I took off the cover that I had on it. And what you can see is I've put this right here is called an inner cover, which would normally go right below the cover. And there's a hole in the middle. And I made this little shim here with a screen on it. And that's some of that. Well, I tried to make fondant. I ended up making, I don't know, call them sugar cakes. So I've broken it up to fill that up, and there's the hole there so they can get up to it. And then we'll see how well I can do this one-handed. I've got a thing of burlap here that I'm gonna stuff in here. And what the burlap will do is it's moisture that tends to kill bees in the winter. And so by putting this burlap inside the hive, the bees produce heat and moisture, and that's going to come up through that hole. Hold on, I've got the camera down on this thing so I've got it kind of stuffed on there, all right? And the moisture will come up. Let's see, where did I put this? There it is. Put the cover on here. And need a couple bricks. So the moisture is going to come up and it's going to get into that burlap, okay? And then the burlap, rather than, because what'll happen is the warm air comes up, and when it hits the cold surface, it's going to condense. And then rather than go back down into the hive, which it might do if I didn't have all this contraption here, it's going to get into the burlap. And then there are holes under here that are going to help that burlap to hopefully, dry out. And so that's the way to air it out and get that moisture out of the hive. And because like I said, it's not so much cold, it's moisture that tends to kill bees in the winter. So so this is my plan. And then in the summer, I'm actually going to keep these on, but without the burlap and with those little screens. I've been watching a lot of videos from a guy on YouTube, Vino Farm, who started beekeeping about a year before me, and so his knowledge level is about a year ahead of me. And he uses these things, and they're called Vivaldi boards, and that's kind of a play on words from Vivaldi's Four Seasons. And so again, in the summer and in the winter, it's going to help regulate the temperature of the hive. And so so that's what I've done. And here you can see I got more of this sugar. When I come out on days and come to feed them, and the nice thing is I can feed them through that screen just by pouring sugar on, which is what some of them have. But if I just take that, on a day, if I just open that top, it's really not going to disturb them down inside. And so so that's the way I can feed them in the middle of winter and without having to disturb the cluster. Also today, as I took these off, this had been on here, and what it did is during the bad time in the late summer, when all the wasps and hornets and other bees want to come and rob each other, you put that on, and really only the home team bees can figure out how to get in and out. It's based on pheromones and such, and so all the robbers have trouble getting in. So so there we go. I was using that smoker earlier. Got stung a couple times, but that's beekeeping. And I tend to do it in short sleeves. They got me on the back of the wrist a couple times. I got these 2 frame mating nukes that I'll use in the spring to try to replace whatever I lose, in winter losses. So so again, we still have 11 hives. I think, what do we have? 2 of them. This one here and the tall one back there are in 8 frames. Those 3 short ones back there are 5. This one is 5. Well, it's 5 over 5. That one's 5 over 5. And 2 more that are 5 over 5. And then that yellow one and the white one are 10s. Everything else is just stacks of stuff that doesn't have any bees in it. I'll get those things set up as we get closer to spring, because if a swarm happens, I'll have a home ready for them if they just want to move in. But so in any event, there you can see up the barn, the out there where I store a bunch of the stuff and the tractor I use to haul it around. So here we go. A bunch of these 2-frames. There's another one. Oh, there you go. I was going to say, I know I had 7 of those 2-frame hives. So here we are. So I think they're pretty much all winterized. What's cool, and I'll zoom in here so you can see this. There's an upper entrance, and if you look, you can see bees moving around in there. So they've got these 2 boxes, hopefully somewhat full of bees. And the cluster of bees moves around to keep itself warm and to keep the queen warm. And sometime in March or so, she'll start cranking out new bees. I saw some in there that looked like they've brought back pollen, so they're finding pollen somewhere. Can't be too much of it, but they're getting it from somewhere. So, all right, well, y'all have a great one, and you know, when the weather breaks in January or sometime, I'll come out here and I'll check on them and maybe make another video for everybody. All right, later.